Hello, and welcome back to At Your Pace Online's Michigan Real Estate Education Series. In this segment, we're going to explore what real property is and what it means to own property. To begin, we'll talk about the ways in which we classify property. We'll also cover the forms of real property officially recognized by the state of Michigan. From there, we'll move on to a discussion of the physical and economic characteristics of land, as well as how we describe a property. Part of this segment will focus on legal descriptions of real estate, while the rest will examine how we talk about structures. Then we'll address some other material facts that may be disclosed to a potential buyer. And after that, we'll dive into ownership of property. We'll start by examining the bundle of rights and forms of ownership. Then we'll discuss land rights. And we'll finish by talking about encumbrances, including liens and easements. We've already talked at length about what you'll do as a real estate agent. It's finally time to talk about the object you'll be helping to transact: property. Property is generally separated into two categories: personal property and real property. Personal property, also called chattel, is any physical object owned by someone that can be reasonably moved. For something to be personal property, it can't be attached or specifically associated with a piece of land. In its most general sense, personal property can include any asset that's not real property. Real property is land and any structures directly attached to that land. This includes improvements such as buildings, roads, and fences. Immobility is what primarily separates real property from personal property. Real property additionally includes natural resources like water, minerals, and crops. This means that oil, gas, and timber qualify as real property because they're considered a part of the land. So, is real property different from real estate? Yes and no. Most of the time, the two terms are used interchangeably, with real estate being used more often. But technically speaking, there is actually a difference between real property and real estate. Real property, as we've already said, is the land, natural resources that can be pulled from that land, and any attached structures. Real estate refers not to anything physical, but instead to the rights to use and control a property. The word estate here means the rights, also called interests, to a property. The distinction we're making is between the physical thing and the rights associated with that physical thing. When someone builds an extension onto a house, they're interacting with their real property. When someone refuses to allow someone to cross their land, they are utilizing their real estate rights. Most of the time, this difference in terminology is insignificant. Real property and real estate are closely tied together, making it hard to interact with one and not the other. For example, when a house is transacted, the house and the plot of land it sits on, along with the collection of rights, are transferred to the new owner. When talking to a client, it's best to keep it simple and just use the term real estate. What is important is to recognize that real estate has a property aspect and a rights aspect. While they are nearly inseparable, each portion needs to be taken into account. The real property side can affect the health and safety of a client, while the real estate side can affect the client's financial stability and quality of life. The aim of this class is to provide you with a clear understanding of the real estate you will be working with, including the property and estate aspects. Our first topic will be classifications of property.